We are back. It's been a while, but if you're going to pick a time to be back, you might as well pick it when you're 1 point away from winning the Premier League. Julian, Chris Delcros, we were at BD Riley's. Happy to be back. First thing I want to say, as you all know, our intrepid leader, Darren O'Connor, has been very sick. The good news is he is now at home. He is getting better, which is fantastic news. So I want to thank you all for all of your fantastic, wonderful best wishes and thoughts. So he's on the road to recovery, which is great.
Yeah.
What I will say is I'm glad this is not a stressful end to the season. This looks like a season where we're going to win it we have 5 games to win it. We need 1 point. Yeah. So it's not going to be, I don't think, one of those that comes down to the last game. But we play Tottenham on Sunday. And after the Arsenal result tonight, where they drew 2-2 at home with Crystal Palace, we're 1 point away. But
yeah, we
for
are.
a moment there, towards the end of that game, I thought it was going to happen. Because Crystal Palace were... they had some chances, right?
Yeah, they were going for it. The second goal was a great goal.
Yeah, it was.
I was sitting at home and I was kind of like, all week I was kind of saying to you lads, I was like, just a big chunk of me that just wants Arsenal to win so we can just go win it ourselves on Sunday. But about 10 minutes into the game, you're like, fuck, I want Palace to win. I want Palace to win.
I know, it was kind of a weird...
Yeah.
it was a weird game from the Arsenal standpoint, Crystal Palace standpoint, because they both have bigger games in the week. And then from a Liverpool standpoint, you're like, yeah, we want to win the league, but if we're kind of selfish, we're thinking, can you,
just put this
Arsenal,
off.
Don't lose tonight. Just put it off.
Honestly, I think a draw was the perfect result.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
because I mean, even if Spurs pull off a shock on Sunday and beat us, we're going to get a fucking point somewhere in the last 4 games. You know what I mean? So
let's get it done.
Yeah,
as they say, very well in Texas. But
so I think the draw tonight was a great result. I think it was probably the perfect, ideal scenario. You go now. I know we looked a bit tired in the last couple of weeks, but I think Sunday it'll all be about adrenaline, all going out and win the league, and there is no other result in my mind that can happen other than a Liverpool win.
I mean, the players, the squad worked so hard. They've had a break. They've had a nice week off. I mean, they're going to be up for this, and they're going to want to put in a performance. Yeah. I would expect that Slot is going to play the same way. He's not going to change anything. I would expect he's going to try and keep them calm and just say, hey, go out there, do your job, win the game, and try and take as much pressure off them as possible.
The atmosphere is going to be electric. I don't actually think it'll be quite more of the same. I think that the fans, the fact that we're at home, I think it's going to be electric. I think it's going to really push us to be a little bit more aggressive, and I can see us coming out of the blocks extremely quick and getting a goal early, and then I think we could run riot and really fucking win it with a big win on
win it
Sunday.
in style.
Yeah.
Put on one of them performances where you're not just going to win the league, but you're going to make a statement performance.
I think I just think with the atmosphere, they're not going to be able to come out and be not cagey, but kind of like let's be patient.
Oh, I've no doubt we'll go out.
I think we're just going to go out, and I think the crowd will dictate and demand that we just fucking go get that goal, alleviate all the fucking pressure. And then I think if we score early, I think the floodgates could open for Spurs, because I think Spurs will have one eye on the following week as well. They've, their whole season now is on the Europa League. So,
what do you think about it? Okay, so obviously we're going to talk about Liverpool. That's what we do. But on the Spurs point, with Big Ange, I mean, they've been how to put this really kindly. They've been fucking dreadful. And that's being generous in the Premier League this season.
Yeah.
If Big Ange, I don't think they will, But if for some reason they do win the Europa League and they qualify for the Champions League, would he keep his job because of that?
No, I think he's gone. No matter what happens, I think he's done. I will say, I think a couple of things on Spurs. I think that they were plagued with injuries.
Yeah.
I also think the fucking media in England really just fucking hammered into them in terms of their style of play, how they wouldn't change, or how supposedly Ange wouldn't change and be a little bit more conservative, and he wanted to go out and play expansive football even though he didn't have the play. I think they made a really big deal about that, and I don't think they would have done that. I don't think they did that with Pep, for example, when it went to shit. You know, it was Pep. City this season.
When
City went to shit.
Okay, yeah.
You know, I think there was a different narrative around that. It was like, oh my God, they're missing fucking Rodri in the middle of the, and all the talk was around that. And Spurs were missing really big, influential players, and for some reason, the media focused on, you know, things that they weren't doing or they weren't changing about the stuff. Now, I will concede that they did not fucking help themselves. Some of the defending was absolutely shocking, and if you've seen your child out doing that, you'd fucking light them up. I get that. All that to say, I feel a little bit sorry for Big Ange. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good manager. I think the players didn't help, and I think he got pummeled by the English media.
They're a cursed club, Tottenham. They've had so many. You know, with cursed, I'm being a bit. They've had so many great managers, so many great players, yet they fail. I mean, it obviously the obvious answer is it needs to change at the top, and they need to completely rebuild, and that's where they got a fucking amazing stadium, right? But it's so many like opportunities they've had. I mean, the biggest one was they could have won the league when Leicester won it. With Pochettino, and that was probably their best squad, maybe best first 11 for a long time. But I mean, if Pep Guardiola went to Spurs,
he wouldn't do shit.
He'd probably struggle.
He would struggle.
He probably would.
I think it goes back to what we always say. If it's not, to me, in my opinion,
it always starts from the top.
Exactly.
Always.
That's what I was going to say. And I think the top is not that it's. The problem comes from the top, not that it's a badly run club. I think it's probably one of the best run clubs in England in terms of making money. And it seems like Levy's not actually interested in winning trophies. He's interested in making money, commercialising Spurs as much as he can, and they're happy with that. As long as they maintain Premier League status and they can be in and around the European places, I think they're fine.
Well,
they're fine with that. And I think that that mentality then trickles down to the players, and there's not that demand that there is at Liverpool or Arsenal or United or City to go and actually win fucking
You're
trophies.
right about that, and it does. The mentality is key, right? Because that does come down, and you notice it.
Yeah.
You know, they might not say they don't, but if you look at Levy, or Levy, however he wants to be called, he's not going to watch this. So it doesn't really matter.
Daniel.
If he is, he's got a problem. But it's like, I think, was it the FA Cup or the League Cup final where he sacked Mourinho?
Yeah.
Like before the final?
Yeah.
And he put Ryan Mason in? I mean, if you want someone to win a trophy, you're going to keep Mourinho.
Yeah.
But that was a total fucking ego thing to do that. But, back to the game. So, Spurs should be very Spursy. If we play anywhere close to half of how good we've been this season, we should win this game. It's funny with this because compared to the Klopp teams, it was a little bit different. With the way Slot has managed our team this season, it's pretty clear who he's going to pick.
Oh, yeah,
barring injuries, of course, for this weekend.
Maybe up top. There's a bit of a debate. Maybe up top.
Jota, Diaz, Gakpo, who are the two he picks out of those. Yeah. That would be the only real conversation. I think the midfield is pretty clear cut. The defence I mean, it's Jones or Soboslai, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the.
But then you wouldn't know. He could pull a fucking rabbit out of the hat with the defence too.
Is he going to try? He's going to start Trent, isn't he? I think.
I think he starts.
I think so.
I think he'll start Trent. Then who's he going to start on the left? Robbo or the Greek?
Oh, please.
Robbo.
Please.
Yeah,
Robbo,
you'd hope, but I thought he would have started. Maybe he had this game in mind, and he gave Robbo a bit of a rest, and then Van Dijk, Kanate, Alisson. It's just, team picks itself.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's. And they'll go out there and do. I mean, this is the bulk of that has been the team that started nearly every single game. I mean, that was maybe something that Slot might, learn, for next season. And he's been fantastic. He's going to win us the league. He's been wonderful. But of course, there are things that maybe he could have rotated a little bit more, which in hindsight is easy. But you can also, on the opposite end of that, say, well, he did the right thing because we're going to win the league. And maybe if he did rotate, we might have lost more league games. So it's hard to say. But I would think next season, and this is probably, another conversation, another podcast, he's going to need to change it up a little bit more. If we want to win the Champions League as well, then he's going to need to do that.
Yeah, I think this season, it's odd to say, right? Because he's going to win the fucking league in a canter. But at the same time, I think it was a real eye opener for him too. I think probably the demands of the league, how physical it is, and how tired some of the players get. But at the same time, then I don't know, some of the stuff just there's a couple of players in there that you kind of feel a little bit sorry for. Elliot, probably the main one where I'm going, I just don't understand how he wasn't used.
Elliot was definitely a Klopp favourite, and he's definitely not a Slot favourite.
Yeah.
Quanza's one as well, but hasn't featured maybe as much as he would have liked.
Yeah, those are the two that jumped to mind to me, where you kind of went, you probably could have utilised those two a little bit more. Yeah. Now, what impact on freshness that would have really had in terms of having a little bit more energy against PSG, or having a little bit more energy in the Carling Cup final. Fuck it, look at. Well, what the fuck? We're going to win the fucking league on Sunday. It's so. Look, he done great. Look, there's no fucking. He did his job.
No, he's done remarkable.
That's it.
He's been.
We're going to win the league.
He's done remarkable. It doesn't matter how good the squad is that you're taking over, right? And he did. He came into a really good squad, but there's a hell of a lot of work to do from there to get that squad, to get your main players to buy into yourself, the entire coaching staff as well. That's a huge fucking change. When you've got players at the club that have been there, for a long time, like your Robertson, your Trent, your Virgil, Salah, etc. I mean, that's a big change for players.
Yeah, but it obviously speaks to, he's got a lot about him, right? He probably comes across as this nice fucking fella, interview on Sky and doing his press conference.
Oh, I'm
kind
sure
of, kind of Columbo sort of deal. Columbo sort of a fella. But he obviously has a lot about him, and probably for me the most impressive thing, aside from winning the league, was him quickly being able to communicate his ideas, and not only be able to communicate them, but have the likes of Robbo, have the likes of Trent, Van Dijk, Alisson, Salah, all these guys buy into it and go, fuck yeah, if we listen to this fella, we'll win the fucking league.
And his biggest win as such with the team this season is the Gravenberch switch, right? Because everyone, of course, myself included, we're like, we need a number 6. We need a number 6. We all said that. He switches Gravenberch there, and he's been outstanding. He's been unbelievable. He's 22. I'm not sure anymore, but surely he's like young player of the season. I think 22 counts. But he's been brilliant. He's been. That's been the switch, isn't it? That's been like the. Like the pivot that's built kind of the team's success right there, because that was what was lacking last season, for example. But Gravenberch has been unbelievable. Been fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few of them too. I think Allison, when he's played, he hasn't been probably fit as much as he's wanted to be. Thought some of the saves he's pulled off in the last few weeks been fucking incredible. Kelleher, anytime he was asked to come in, I think he did all right. He'd one shite moment against Newcastle.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think he was solid.
Yeah.
But when he came in, young Bradley looks like he's solid. Does well. And fucking Salah's just been amazing again.
Salah. He's
been incredible.
Unbelievable. Like,
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say about
was up until he's dropped off the past month or two. He's dropped off a little bit, but it's unbelievable. Like his goals, his assists, remarkable player. Obviously, extremely happy signing a new contract alongside Virgil as well. I think most people would have said it was going to be Salah and Virg would most likely sign, and Trent would be the one that's leaving. But I mean, that's a great deal. Was it 3 years? I think it is, or 2 year
2 years.
2 year deal, right? 2 year deal.
2 year deal.
So it gives us the opportunity to see what happens next season.
Yeah. No, it's been great. And look, I would have, if you had asked me before last Sunday, percentage-wise, Trent staying or going, I would have said 100% going. And then I don't know, you kind of look at him on Sunday, and you'd love to be real close to him and kind of ask him, fuck, are you gonna feel like that when you score away to fucking Espanyol?
Espanyol.
And the answer to that is no, and you wonder like, fuck me, maybe he might have a bit of a change
It's
of heart.
still not.
And I would say now I'm down to 90%.
90%. Yeah. I mean, it seems likely he's going to go.
Yeah.
But it's a. Liverpool was a very, very strong pull. We saw it with Steven Gerrard back in the day when he nearly went to Chelsea, and he was all about Chelsea. But then,
I mean, it's your club,
it could
like it's
very
your boyhood.
well,
It's your
it
boyhood
could very
club.
well happen with Trent. You can bet he's under a hell of a lot of pressure with his mates and whatnot in Liverpool about it. And Real Madrid are going to need a new manager, right? It sounds like Ancelotti is going to be going to Brazil. They're not in the best shape.
To avoid, I better not say that. Allegedly.
The Don escaping.
Don Carlo.
But anyway, we're going to win the league.
Yeah.
Right?
Magic,
and I will
isn't
say, this is League 20. It's not number 2.
Yeah.
Like we saw today on the
And
TV.
on last Sunday as well. It's been fucking doing me nothing.
It's like, it didn't exist before the Premier League. No, it's 20.
Yeah, it's 20.
We won the league 20 times in the top
titles.
league in England.
Yeah.
I don't care what it's called.
Yeah.
But to say the Premier and then before that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But regardless, it'll be 20 times.
Yeah.
You can now say, so Delcros has this habit after
I'm not gonna say it
after
Sunday.
4 months into the season where he'll say, it's our year.
Oh, Jesus, you did it.
Yeah.
So we're allowed to say it.
Then
I
COVID
think it's our year.
hit,
I think it's our year.
Like a wars breaks out.
Yeah, something. Yeah, no.
I think you could say it.
It's our year.
I feel really comfortable.
And why did we deserve it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you don't. Cliches are true, but the league table does not lie. We have been the best team in the Premier League this season. Yeah. There's no doubt.
But by a long shot.
Yep.
We pummeled them into submission.
It's been. I think Arsenal struggled with some of the signings they made and this weird NFL obsession with free kicks and this strain. But Arsenal haven't. Obviously they need a striker, right? That is well known. But Arsenal didn't make that leap that maybe people expected.
But that's not our problem.
It's not our problem at all. Yeah. But it's like Man City. Yeah. Rodri was a massive blow. It was. But I would say the signings that Man City have made haven't been great. And then they've got a lot of players kind of on their way out as well, like Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, the goalkeeper, Edison. The goalkeeper's a big problem with them as well. Yeah. And we've taken advantage. Yeah. The best 2 teams in the league this season have been Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. Because Nottingham Forest came out of nowhere, really.
Yeah.
And have been exceptional.
Yeah, I'm wondering. You think they'll hang on in there?
I hope so. I don't know. I think, yeah. I mean, I would hope they do. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think they're going to get fucking chinned on the line.
I mean, what do we have? We have Forest, Man City,
Newcastle.
Chelsea, Newcastle, Villa.
I think Newcastle and City.
You think?
They'll creep in there. Well, not creep.
Well,
City.
one more.
City. There's
one
one more.
more.
I keep forgetting that. So they might.
I think Villa
fifth.
will drop out.
Maybe.
And I think so. It will be Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, City,
Newcastle. In my opinion, I think Newcastle is.
I think Chelsea will. They'll be focused on.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea will slip out, but who knows? We'll see. But that's probably the most for those smaller clubs.
Yeah.
That's the most interesting part of the league. But
and then the bottom three are
20 times.
Yeah.
Man United. That perch. The
It's gone.
Ferguson.
It's over.
Sorry.
Get off. Get off that fuck. Get out.
Get off. Get off.
We're back, baby.
Take your
We're
red
back.
nose with you as
Yeah.
well. It's
Poor old devil.
it's amazing, really, like how long it took us to get back, right? But in a pretty short space of time, in comparison, since I mean, in a way, I would put this start to the Julian era. Back in 2001, I would go back to there because we were terrible. I won't say terrible, but we weren't great under Evans. We weren't great under Souness. Julian got us a treble, and then we kind of built from there. We got Rafa, we got Champions League, and then we got close to winning the league.
Slowly built.
We'll ignore Roy Hodgson, but we had Brendan who got a second. And so we've started to find kind of our way back since then. And then Klopp, of course, came in, made us believe again.
Yeah. I think it's a bit what we were saying earlier. Yeah, I think we got the top. We figured out the top echelons of the club, and the rest of it trickled down.
You have to start from the top. It's not anything.
Yeah,
you have to start at the top. I mean, is any wonder that Man United are so broken, and it starts with and that's a virus that winds its way around every fabric of the football club. I mean, any wonder Newcastle, they get. And they haven't spent a lot of money, Newcastle, as well, right? They can't. But Newcastle, it's like a clear plan from the top to the bottom.
At some point they will, though. They will be able to spend.
At some point they'll be available, but they've just won their first trophy in however many years. But they have a clear understanding of what it is, from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
With they spent some money, but not as much as what everyone was expecting.
Yeah.
You look at that side, and the majority of those players were there before the new owners came in.
Yeah.
So it's a huge it's a huge part of any business, which football, especially in the Premier League, is. And FSG will link it back to them. Have been very good because you have to look at the trophies, you have to look at how well we're doing financially, you have to look at Anfield, how good Anfield looks, you have to look at the new training facility, and they've made the odd misstep. Going to win the second Premier League, they've won the Champions League, Super Cup, League Cup, FA
won
Cup,
everything.
World Club Cup.
Won everything.
And Arne Slot,
fucking hot. What a first season.
What does he do from here? He's got to win the Champions League, right? We'll discuss that
win
later.
it again.
Right?
Win it again.
And win the Premier League again.
Huh? Jurgen who? Huh? Who? Jurgen who? What was that fella's name? Fella with glasses.
Come on. So
we're only joking, you fucking legend.
Yeah, he's. I mean, it's part of.
You think we'll see him here over the night? We won't see him Sunday, but you think we'll see him once it's won? I think.
Apparently, I think he will stay out of the picture for the last few games. I think he's intelligent enough to be like.
I don't even think. I think he's superstitious enough.
Superstitious. I think he's going to the parade.
Yeah.
So that's part of the plan. But very Klopp. He's like, I will be.
Yeah.
With the crowd, I will be with the fans, which as he should. But I think it is. I mean, we didn't get to celebrate properly last time. Even here in Austin,
we'll celebrate this time.
We didn't get to celebrate, but in Liverpool especially, it couldn't happen. So I'm extremely happy for the fans in Liverpool to be able to celebrate this. I'm happy for those players that were around and won the league.
Win it again.
Back then to win it again, but now probably have a really good time because it's deserved and it's hard work and
It's been great.
it's been wonderful. So yeah, we'll.
It's been different but great.
It's been a very Liverpool-like season, where it's done so easy. Normally there's a bit of drama, but it's felt, at least for the past 3-4 months, it's felt like it's been nailed on, really.
Yeah.
Barring a complete collapse, it's felt like, okay, this is going to happen. So
Magic. Fucking magic, lads.
fucking magic. All right. We'll
Predictions.
wrap this up. Do you want to do scores?
Let's do fucking
Yes,
scores.
do fucking
Fucking I'm going
scores.
4-0 Liverpool.
Don't you dare say we lose. All right, so you're going to go
4-0
4-0?
Liverpool. I think we score early, the floodgates. No, you know what? 4-2. I'm going to go 4-2.
Really?
Spurs will sneak 2 fucking goals when we're celebrating at
They
the
are
end.
cheeky, Spurs.
Yeah, you know the way they like to do that.
I'm going to go fucking 6-1.
There we go.
Why not? We haven't had a blow. Let's fucking, let's do it.
Yeah.
6-1.
Salah.
Salah
Hopefully Salah
hat-trick.
with a hatful.
Trent will
Is he
score.
nailed on? Is he nailed on for the golden boot as well, Salah?
He's not nailed on, but
Is there a bit of a?
there's a few in contention.
There is.
Yeah. He'll know that as well.
Yeah.
He knows all this shit.
Yeah,
So he'll be wanting to and he has we have 5 games left. So he's and he's had a little bit of a down period that tends to happen with him, but I'm sure he'll come out. He'll get a hat trick on Sunday.
Be nice.
6-1.
I'll take 4. I'll take 1 fucking nil.
I'll take 1-1.
I'll take 1-1.
I'll take 0-0. Honestly. Just get the point.
The pub will be hopping.
Win the league, and we'll be we'll be here at BD Riley's.
You'll have to be here early.
Yeah, I'll have to be here very early. So Austin time, Austin, Texas time, kickoff's 10:30 in the morning.
AM, yeah.
I would advise people to be here 8:30.
Saturday evening.
Saturday
Get your
evening.
tents.
Yeah.
Get your tents. Get your sleeping bags.
Get in the queue now.
Yeah.
But all right, so we'll wrap it up. So thank you again for all your kind wishes for Darren O'Connor.
Yeah. Get well, Daz.
His family, extremely appreciative over this. This came out of the blue. It was a complete shocker. So to see all of these wonderful messages, the family, thank you a lot. So appreciate that. And with that, let's go ahead and win the league on Sunday.
It's our fucking year.
It's our fucking year. Thank you. Bye.